Wounded ones are harmless. No sense in shooting them and drawing attention.
Fire on the nearest target! Don't kill the tech free! We need to...
What is going on? What is all this commotion?
Glory to how, sir? To the Lord Captain!
How may I serve you, Lord Captain?
I was attacked.
Who dared?
I encountered mutants in the Pestilent Pit. They seemed to be under the influence of unholy powers.
You went to the Pestilence Pit. You into the Pestilence Pit. Pardon me, Lord Captain. I just can't even begin to find the words I would use if I had to tell the Master-at-Arms that you had perished in there. The enforcers do regular checks to see if there are any dangerous blight-stricken rejects hiding at the bottom of the bay. I implore you, Lord Captain, leave this job to us.
Enforcers have been appropriating ration cards from workers returning from their shifts. Why is that? Are you short on provision?
The compartment has just enough food to avoid starvation, Lord Captain. This is why the enforcers are making sure that no serf has more cards than they're supposed to. They used to rip out people's tongues for it, but I reduced the punishment to simply beating the thieves and confiscating all their cards. The orders are to give these cards to workers who are starving due to a lack of work shifts. Not that it helps them much, but it's better than nothing. Are there enforcers guilty of misappropriating the confiscated items? Yes. Do those caught stealing receive severe punishment? Absolutely.
I have finished to inspect this bay.
Will there be any orders based on the inspection's conclusions?
Only harsh measure will bring order to the bay. Establish an execution quota. Strip all corrupt enforcers of their rank. And burn away all crime. Any idlers are to be given a job. And if they cannot do anything useful, servitors them. Organize mandatory sermons and spread the word of faith.
Will do. We will increase the pressure on the untrustworthy element, conduct searches and interrogations to uncover criminals. We will herd the rabble to prayer services and remind them that your lordship's law is a stern one. I've been told the next bay has a labor shortage. We are going to deploy our workforce reserve there, in shackles if need be. Hub LD 987/A14 connects the lower decks freight, residential, and artillery bays. Our task is to monitor the flow of the labor force and prevent supply disruption between bays.
What is it now?
This is not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat out on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant.
I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain.
Very well, Lieutenant. You may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb him. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence toward a higher-ranking officer will be logged on your personal file without delay.
Lord Captain, Lieutenant Aurelius-Edran, requesting permission to speak on a matter of extreme importance and urgency.
You may speak, but I want to hear a report, not a shouting match. Having two officers bickering in full view of the bridge is unacceptable.
I am sorry, Lord Captain. I thought that drastic times called for drastic measures. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. But I am convinced that this step is unwarranted and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers.
Abelard, in a hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff. He glanced at Sorbeck, who is standing not far from him, but she maintains a stony expression.
Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Rosarian and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands.
There is an insurrection in the making aboard my ship, and no one has informed me.
I would not deem it a problem worthy of the rogue trader's attention. The lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, We even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rule across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we were still battling rumors that the hero had survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Needless to say, the rumors were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. I dread to think what problem you will disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up brawls in the mess room? I have already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them.
If I may, your lordship, sending a hit squad to crush the rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it.
How did all this start?
The situation could boil over at any minute, so I'll give you the condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who'd been killed in a drunken brawl. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed, and opened an investigation. No heretics have been found alive, but the search has brought tensions between enforcers and workers to a head.
Where does Seneschal Syrian come into all of this?
I shall explain.
I beg you to hurry. Time is running out.
I will not hurry. Since my competence is under scrutiny, I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars of that system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled internal problems myself, so of course, when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valancius will find refuge on her ship.
You were far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Rosarian. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors. It has driven the people to the brink. Now, there is a strike on the lower decks. In Depot 4, to be precise. 3 worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into an all-out insurrection. But when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and crush the strike with maximum force.
Abelard, what do you have to say to all of this?
I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections.
For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks, stop the assault unit, and speak directly to the people. You will see that they are not lying or harboring heretics. That way you will stop the uprising before it begins.
I've heard enough. I will go down to the lower decks and deal with the problem personally.
Praise the Emperor. Thank you, Lord Captain.
An enterprise bordering on the sophomoric, but please yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you.
Lord Captain, I regret that the enforcers were unable to handle the situation, which then led to your and the Seneschal's involvement. I consider it my duty to go to Depot for myself and see to the expedient resolution of this incident.
Hey, it is Syrian. Take that, scum.
Look who it is! This is all his fault! All of it!
The lower decks are a source of endless problems. Sometimes I dearly regret that we cannot replace all the locals with servitors.
The people dare to disrespect a senior officer.
They would not have the chance to express such disrespect if we were not here, and if the situation had been dealt with by the relevant officers. It is a junior officer's worst failing to pass problems up the chain of command. I have never been able to abide it. I shall say it again. It was a mistake to come here on Lieutenant Vent's whim, Lord Captain. I must admit that the lieutenant is by no means the worst material for an officer. But in the name of Terra, the girl is the same age as my eldest great-granddaughter. And she has the gall to tell me how to manage the lower decks and hunt down cultists. It will be another 20 years at least before she can be trusted to act without oversight.
Let's keep moving. We need to get to the bottom of this.
I still do not see our purpose in coming here.
Relax, old man. Going for a stroll on the lower decks every once in a while is good for you. Lets you see how the simple folk live.
The sound of idle discussion reverberates through the ship's space. Lieutenant Aurelius-Edran of the ship's enforcers is borrowing the path of her superior, Master at Arms Jocasta Sorbeck, who has arrived clad in armor. Judging by their expression and tone, the standoff had dragged on for some time already, and has now reached boiling point.
Lieutenant Vent, my patience is wearing thin. I have given you an order. Now get out of my way.
I cannot comply with that order, ma'am. This is my deck and my sector. So long as this area remains under the Lord Captain's special oversight, no action can be taken without my express permission. There are only 3 people who are authorized to make me stand down: the first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself.
So not all my lessons fall on deaf ears.
Your Lordship.
We encountered some locals on our way here. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us.
The people are getting desperate. Clearly, they saw the assault unit and they decided they had nothing left to lose. I mean, I apologize, Lord Captain. It is outrageous. I'm sure the people simply didn't recognize you. It wouldn't have occurred otherwise. We will deal with them once the current situation is resolved.
What's the situation?
Your Lordship, my people have locked down the bay where the strikers are, including their leaders. We have the situation under control as far as resources allow.
Under control, Lieutenant? I came here to lead an investigative unit, and what do I see? The rabble is on the verge of mutiny. There is nothing to investigate. This simply calls for immediate repressions and firing squads, and you, Vent, are a step away from facing charges yourself.
I want to speak to the strikers.
Abelard no twist, but he restrains himself and say nothing.
Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck.
A dozen pairs of eyes stare pensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and face the display burn levels of mutation, from the barely discernible, to the strange, to the outright grotesque.
Lord Captain, you come down to us.
We were attacked on the way here. How do you explain that?
Here's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limit, and now they're lashing out. As if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here. Like that one there that the lieutenant won't let past.
Our clans are all inside the bay that's been sealed off. But the lower decks are big. I'm sure there are some people who've had just about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers have encircled the ones who've risen up. A death squad has just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out.
The words seem sincere to you. Their body language and the glance traded between them revealed the news of the attack have shocked them.
Tell me what is troubling you. Why are you striking?
Striking? That's news to us, your lordship. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think.
Shut up, Rivet. Here's the deal, your lordship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here. They say they're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching for their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to whole bays for a week at a time, so we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of those enforcers.
Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see the sadness swell in her eyes when the children's deaths are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem prayer and makes a sign over ourselves.
It's all true. Vint is the only enforcer officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother from the lower decks, and who grew up amidships, and has no fellow feeling toward us. Your lordship, we're no villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We've plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly, and now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed.
The persecution started apropos of nothing, you say? I was told that one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet, and that there are heretics hiding here.
A cultist amulet? What's that? The gewgaw they found on the dead drunkard. If it was something evil or forbidden, we sure didn't know. The enforcers just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation would be punished. But how could there be heretics here? We know our own people. There have been no new faces around.
Definitely not. And if there were, we'd be the first to report them.
And as for this amulet, or whatever it is, they took it off a dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure. But when that fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted the bodies. The boots they came back with. Nobody's ever tread these decks in boots so fine, I can tell you that. Seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us.
Oh yeah, those boots really were fine, and there was no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, sir, it must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets around here. We all worship the Emperor, and when we're working, we bow down before the machine spirits of the large and small transformers and the servo motor, the same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came calling. Believe us, your lordship, we are people of faith.
Naive children. Weren't you taught from an early age about the dangers of the arch-enemy's creations? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them?
We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector. It was just after I'd had my 3rd little one.
That is regrettable. But you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when beasts crawl out of those amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who was not there, or the scavenger who brought evil down on himself and his neighbors?
What changes do you want?
Would you look at this? The exalted Lord Captain himself is asking us bilge rats what we want. Well, here's what we want you to rein in, your damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat, and to stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms, and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if these cultists do show their faces. I've been leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here.
You've gone too far, old man. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks live without the enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day's out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbor out of stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist bodies, and we'll talk to them, one lower decker to another. If there are any more of those damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves.
You speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures. I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but as soon as the Anointed One turns his back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before, all because we dared to speak out.
The tall worker's eyes dart between the 2 arguing leaders. Every few seconds, he opens his mouth as if he's planning to agree. Each time he falls silent, simply making a few vague noises of approval.
Spreading anarchy on the ship is the first step toward embracing chaos. Putting weapon into untrained hands will be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Withdraw those demands, and we will consider the rest.
Old Nan, listen. The Lord Captain himself has come down to us and is offering concessions, and I don't know a single person in the whole of Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talk to them. Back down. Now's no time for you to be a stubborn old crone.
Listen to us, Old Nan. The 3 clans of Depot 4 ought to act as one. We've made our minds up. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that.
You two are ganging up on me, is that it? So brave you are against an old woman? But I'll shut up. I will indeed. I won't go against 2 clan leaders on my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace.
That's great, just fantastic. Lord Captain, we're all agreed.
Then it's decided. The persecution will stop, and they will expect you to assist in locating any remaining amulets or weapon left by the cultist.
Your lordship, thank you. You have not abandoned us lower deckers. You came yourself and settled everything. I'll tell my grandchildren about this.
I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You kowtowed to the disloyal rabble. You believed their lies and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, that rabble will welcome them in with open arms and allow them to wreak whatever havoc they like, because they see you as a weak leader. Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valancius Protectorate?
Why are you so angry? I solved the problem.
I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Remember Lord Captain Theodora? Do you think she ever set one slippered foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers, while she dedicated herself to her grand designs for the Protectorate, as any true strategist and rogue trader ought.
Maybe if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. There is a new Lord Captain aboard this ship now, and I will not repeat her mistake.
I commend your decisiveness, but I am uncomfortable with introducing new protocols in the midst of a crisis. The prosperity of the Von Valancius Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for the chance to see it flourish. It was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodora's deeds the sign of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds. They create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known. I come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods, to distant frontiers, on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire Protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then suddenly, everything that had been built over years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hangar on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all. The rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planets. I tell you this honestly, without fear of appearing weak. All this has come as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty-bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you to find your footing as quickly as possible. And to do that, I must insulate you from problems that in the past have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. And should my old habits ever begin to creep back in, and now, please, let us leave the lower decks. If the rogue trader desires to stretch his legs, there are far more suitable places.
As the ship makes its way through the star system, a strange fatigue falls over you. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the quill you have been using to draw up yet another order falls from your hand. You raise your head with a start. Someone else is here. In your study. You stand up and stare at a dozen upon dozen of corpses surrounding you. Among their number, you recognize the spirit and blooded face of those who died on the ship bridge and those you met in your previous life. How is this possible? Where are the enforcers posted to stand guard? It matters not. You are alone against a horde of heretics, rising from the darkness to take your life. As if of its own accord, the shard lying on the edge of the desk, the sole remnant of Conrad Voigtweir, weapon, slip into your hand. The metal is searing cold, and that sway from side to side, closing in around you in a nightmarishly slow advance.
Stay back. Stay back! Or else.
The dead only draw closer and closer, and your fingers involuntarily tighten around the shard. It's sharp, as cutting into your palm. An unbearably bright light flows everything around, and you find yourself surrounded by crawling minions, their bodies shivering in your mere presence. Your hands no longer hold a pitiful shard, but a majestic and intricate weapon, a skillfully crafted sword with strange, unnerving proportions, a cold design, and an unusual hilt adorned with the image of a closet eye. The tapestry is worn. The path is chosen. Accept your fate, champion.
Never!
Resisting your fate is futile. You awoken from the vision kneeling next to your desk, clothes drenched in sweat and with a sore taste on your tongue. Your head is ringing, and you struggle to recall those faces and the image of the sword in your hands. Only the deep cut on your palm and the bloody shard lying on the floor remain in you of what just transpired. You will rather die than touch that thing again, so you reach a shaking hand for your box and call for a servitor. Now you just have to wait for the mindless automaton to arrive, pick up the cursed artifact, and head for the nearest airlock to be claimed by the void. The starport greets you with the din of ordnance and the smell of explosive tickles your nostrils. It is difficult to tell through the smoke who is firing at whom.
Halt! Weapons on the ground. Or I'm firing. Alright, so our skies are in lockdown. The rebels are shooting down anything that flies. And you lot just happen to land in our rear without a scratch to show for it? And on a shuttle like that? Where did you get it? Stolen from the palace, isn't it? Grab 'em, lads! We've got ourselves a rebel landing force.
By the Holy Throne, what is this mess?
They're in a rough spot, old man. Go easy on them.
I am the rogue trader von Valencius. Give me a status report. This instant.
My mistake, sir. At once, the starport is under the control of the governor's wardens. Perimeter.
A fragrant explosion cut off the rest of the sergeant's words. Shrapnel flies everywhere with a piercing screech. One of the soldiers falls to the ground, clutching the remains of his forearm. That is now adorned with crimson tatters. Blood is spewing out of the stump, and the soldier's agony is short-lived. The sergeant calls and hastily says an army prayer for the dead.
Pardon me, sir. Sergeant Lassimulgar reporting. My unit is holding the starport on the governor's orders. How may I serve?
What is going on here?
Unrest, sir. Armed rebellions in both the capital and the provinces. First, the lower levels sparked. Then it went up the spires. They hit the Vox hubs, the arsenals, the mag train stations.
Then Phalek tore off his mask, precisely because he knew about the trouble on Ricad Minoris. He knew that none of our allies would come to our aid. You may continue your report, peasant.
My unit was here when it all went to the Groxes. The tech, priests, linked to satellites, reported sightings of strange void ships in the system. They were orbiting the star until one of them set course for landing on Ricad Majoris. The governor took precautionary measures and ordered to increase security at the key facilities. Everyone knows that whenever something's not right, you better double the warden details. The alarm was raised, and we were sent to secure the starport. It's the only reason we were able to hold it. They're crushing us, the scumbags. It's been a whole turn since the last reinforcements came in. We're running low on ammo. Every other fighter is wounded. I don't know how bad it is in the streets, but they'll drive us out of here any minute.
You are doing fine work, Malgar, and so are your troops. It is people like you that hold the Imperium together.
I live to serve.
I'm going to see the governor.
If I may report, sir, as long as the rebels keep shooting their damned anti-aircraft battery, there is absolutely no way to shuttle you to the governor. It would have to be on foot, and the streets are dangerous. I have no one to send with you as an escort. I assigned our available troops to accompany the esteemed tech priest to the governor. I will voxcast orders to them to wait for you. And I'll inform headquarters they better send out a convoy to meet you halfway. Meanwhile, we will follow the governor's orders and hold the line here.
You're a good soldier, but you've got a lot of blood on your hands, both yours and others. You know, the same hand that salutes now might falter in darkness. Rank and epaulets won't save you from the bitterness.
Pardon me, my lady, but I can't get my head round these fancy words you're saying. I've seen plenty of blood, but trust me, I'll fight till my last drop. All of our roadblocks are gone. The whole place is in the rebels' hands. The city is almost lost, so no help will come. We are surrounded by rebels. And watch your step, sir. The streets are chock full of mines.
His remark about mines lodged itself in your memory. More than anything, you will need to watch the ground and not your surroundings. You'd rather risk a shot from a rebel or a jittery soldier than experience of an handful of little fresh shrub resting on top of some tree underground exploding pipeline.
You are a good soldier, Malger. I will see that your heroism is noted.
I live to serve.
Another explosion interrupts the sergeant's words. With a sigh of relief, he turns to his soldiers and spits out a booming series of commands.
So, this is how vast the sky is. It is no wonder that mutiny broke out here. How can order be maintained in a place without compartments or bulkheads?
I would argue that it is not the size of the territory, but the competence of the governor that matters. Ugh, he did not even send a proper cortege to meet us.
Here we go.
My prescience has failed me.
Out of my way.
The Empyrean.
Hold on. Weapon at the ready.
Help me, Lord Captain!
Show me what you've got!
Cleanses the body. Military tactics. Accustomed to being ordered around. Do it. Is this a job for the...
I must not falter! Scared yet?
Let's make it quick.
Bring mercy and retribution. Ordains. Trust me.
It's by faith. Emperor commands, I act.
Know what to do. That is how it's done.
Momentum.
One fewer target. Indeed. Victory is imminent. I took care of this one.
What to do? They say I have a magnetic personality. That certainly explains why I keep attracting trouble.
Change is coming. The edge is nigh.
The blinded ones are harmless. No sense in shooting them and drawing attention.
Fire on the nearest target! Don't kill the tech priest! We need to take him alive!
Find it, and let the enemies win.
Do it! Fall back!
May knowledge be thy fate. Let the cycle be discontinued.